I can ask questions.
You don't have any questions. You don't have you have a
I believe Senator Peterson has some questions for me. We were just trying to get those two out the way so we could just get straight to this one, since that's the most controversial one.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Henry. Can you tell me why it is that you chose those particular precincts to change in the map?
The original precincts that were put in were 16-4 through 16-8. At no point in time was I asked what precincts I would like to take in Orleans Parish, nor at no point in time was really any indication was given to me that I'd have to pick up 5 more precincts in Orleans Parish. I just saw it on a map and called you and said, I'm picking up a whole bunch of precincts in Orleans Parish. I don't know anybody there. I'm going to move them around, and more or less, my recollection is you said, do what you got to do. So I did what I had to do, and I moved them around to other areas. The amendment came out again differently from committee, different than we'd already discussed. So my Orleans precincts continue to evolve without any of my input. And normally I'm a pretty laid back guy with things, and I try to do the best to help all of my colleagues. But in this case, the fact that I had continued to be giving precincts in Orleans Parish without even the consideration of being asked, just these are your precincts. I'm not saying you did it. I don't know who did it, and it really doesn't make a difference at this moment. What I'm trying to do is adjust the district in a way that I think is fair to everyone within reason. I know you don't like it. I get it. I don't think any of us loves that district, but that's kind of how that's how the process unfortunately went on my side. I wasn't in any of the meetings with you to discuss it because either neither of us were there or one of us was not there. So that's just kind of where we are.
Again, why did you choose the precincts that you chose?
I picked up 14-18A because it fits below. I think I have my map right here. As you pointed out when you and I spoke, precinct 14-13A is in the district now as an additional. 14-12, 14-9 is in the district. So we're picking up 14-18, which would put the boundaries between Claiborne and my current district. It definitely community of interest when you look at the number of students and faculty I will be picking up I'm already picking up between 14-12 and 14-19. That is filled with faculty and students that currently go to both of those universities, both Tulane and Loyola. If anybody knows anything about New Orleans, you have a general idea where Broad Street is. And if you're on the younger side, you've probably stumbled by the Boot or Waldos. In that area is where a tremendous amount of both Tulane and Loyola professors and students live. This would allow me to represent the students, professors who live there, as well as the actual university. Short of the fact that I actually went to Tulane University and am remembered by that every month for my $283 student loan that I pay that I feel like I'll be paying forever. I felt a good connection to Tulane as well, which I was happy to take them under if I could. I have one sister, I have 2 sisters, a brother, and a father who's deceased and a mother, all who are graduates of Loyola University. And as obviously many of you know, is a Jesuit school where I also went to high school. So to try to figure out what would be the best fit for me and how I can and help those universities, both Tulane and Loyola, given that Loyola is just coming out of a pretty much close to bankruptcy where it was, unfortunately. But it does have the first female, Tetlow is her name, the first female president right now, which I think is a nice honor for Tulane. For Loyola. Tulane has Fitz right now, Fitts, as the man in charge. So that's kind of why I chose him.
So you said you thought you'd do it because you could help them out, and it's a good fit. Using your words, it's a good fit for you.
I think it's a good fit for the university as well. I mean, I have a significant amount of Orleans Parish in my district now, and I'll continue to be able to help those folks out just as I would any other time. Just like I help out UNO, and I don't live there, and I help out Baton Rouge, and don't live in Baton Rouge. I mean, that's experience I've been able to pick up dealing with the budget a little bit, and I'd like to be able to continue as best I can to help both those universities as well as all the universities, which clearly I have a record of doing.
So does it take the amendment that you're offering, does it move Loyola University into District 8, and Tulane University into District 8?
District 9?
District 9. District 9, I'm sorry.
Does it take Tulane and Loyola and move them into District 9? If that's what's in 14-18A, then I believe so.
Are you suggesting you didn't know that?
I haven't been able to really have the opportunity to look at any of these precincts until about 3 days ago when I was going through working it out. Am I going to be shy in saying that I want to have Tulane and Loyola in my district? No. I'm happy to take it all day.
You don't remember having a conversation with me and asking me if we could split the baby? Karen, you take Loyola and you take Tulane. Are you standing here before this body saying you don't know what those two precincts represent? Are you really doing that right now?
What I'm doing is explaining the amendment that I have. The conversation that I originally had with you was, Cameron, go do what you got to do. So I did what I got to do. The last conversation you and I had, you told me you didn't like the amendment, you wanted to keep discussing it, and you did not want me to bring an amendment in committee, which I said, okay, we'll just keep working at it. And that's what I've done. You're going through a process of objecting to it. I'm going through a process of trying to pass it. One of us is going to win and I guess get the amendment we like. The other one won't. This isn't a personal attack on you.
I never said it was.
I'm not saying you did, but I want to make sure everybody listening knows it's not an affront to you. I mean, we've served together on this body and that body. It's just sometimes things get a little tense and.
I'm not tense right now. I'm not tense right now. I'm going to ask the question again. Do you remember having a conversation with me where you said what you just alluded to and inferred is that you didn't know what the precincts in the amendment that you're bringing before this body included? So again, do you know that they include Loyola University and Tulane University? I'm going to start there again.
Yes, I'm very well aware that they include Tulane and Loyola because I specifically looked at precincts that I thought that would fit and that I wanted to have, and kind of what we do during redistricting when you give and take. I didn't look at the Jefferson side and say, you know what, guys, I have way too many Jefferson Parish precincts. Let me give some of those up. That didn't come to mind. I was pretty much said, I have to give them up. So if I have to give up something on one side and I have the option to take something remotely that I'm familiar with, which would be Tulane and Loyola, I'm going to take them if the body allows it. If they don't allow it, well, then I won't.
I just want you to be forthright because in just 2 minutes ago, 120 seconds ago, you said, I didn't really have a lot of time to figure out what this is, but you prepared an amendment and you've had several conversations with me specifically about these universities. So when you present, be forthright and tell the truth, because what you didn't present just now is the truth. You can blow as long as you want to blow. And the other reason you told me is that you couldn't pass up the opportunity to represent your sister. Is that correct?
As I stated downstairs in the basement at breakfast today, and I stated a little while ago, that was exactly what I told everyone, very forthright. Because I imagine if you went through your districts right now, you probably know whether or not your mom or your dad's in it, your legislative assistant, a good friend, any of those type of things. And we actually pick our districts sometimes by people that we know in them if we have the opportunity to do it. So I did. I don't know if you think I lied to you, such is life. Any more questions?
Senator Peterson to the floor.
All right. Thank you, Madam Pro Tem, and thank you, members, for indulging in the debate and the discussion about something that's really important. So every 10 years, this is my third time doing this. I did it in 2020, I did it in 2010, and what's always driven me in the redistricting process is not what my district looks like. If you look at the record, I didn't vote for plans in the past, not because of what my district looked like. It was because it wasn't fairly apportioned to the population of this state. In this instance, I'm going to stick to the amendment. The amendment has nothing to do with me. It's not personal. I'm not excited. I'm only preparing for this record and trying to tell you what the motive and the intent was for this amendment. The motive and the intent for the amendment was to take the economic engine out of District 5, which are, in part, Loyola and Tulane universities, which has been represented by this district for decades. I am term limited. I am not running for this office again. I have no idea who will run for it, but I know that it guts the economic engine of the district. And it's not fair. Now, let's go back. Why are we in this position that Senator Henry is even having to make amendments to his district? Why is that? Because the population shift in Orleans Parish, it was increased by 40,000. The president stated that in his opening remarks. 30,000 of the 40,000 people are white people. My district, District 5, has transitioned over the last 20 years, and it is now comprised of more Caucasians than African Americans, Asians, Hispanic, and other. At the time when the census was done, right now, it's about 44% white. So, President drafted a bill, and his intentions were to make a district that is not black, black. Yes, I am black, and I have been representing a district and elected twice by white people and black people. The majority of the district is white. That's what happens when you give people an opportunity to elect a candidate of choice. What has happened in New Orleans is there's an influx, obviously by the numbers, and what we want to do here is ignore the population shift, in part. And so, for the last several months, there's been an enormous amount of energy in shifting and redrawing districts, not based on redistricting principles, but primarily based on what Senator Hewitt would not like to hear, but race. So, the plan violates Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. Let me give you some numbers. Jefferson Parish, I'm not going to give you the details because you have most of this, you all have seen it, you've gone to hearings, you've done road shows. Jefferson Parish, approximate numbers, is represented. Half of the population in Jefferson Parish is non-white. 440,000 people right now. 220,000 of them are black, Asian, Hispanic, and other, right now. Jefferson Parish is currently represented by several senators. There are African Americans in Jefferson Parish who have been asking for a very long time to have a district drawn where they have an opportunity to elect a person of choice. However, that's been very difficult. Why? Because you have a population of 440,000. You have Senator Smith's district. You have Senator Talbot's district. You have Senator Henry's district. You have Senator Bowie's district. You have Senator Peterson's district. You have Senator Carter's district, all breaking up what we call cracking as a redistricting principle, which is diluting minority voter participation that doesn't permit them to elect a candidate of choice. And so when you separate the population, remember, 220,000 are non-white, half the parish, but 4 white male Republicans represent the district without an opportunity for Democrats, or the core of the district, I should say, Democrats or African Americans, to get a candidate of choice, with the exception of Senator Gary Carter, which we'll get to that when he brings his amendment, which is a whole nother issue. Why is it that minority populations have to work so hard to be treated fairly? If we're going to take a district from North Louisiana based on population, Mr. President, your bill, because population on the North Shore, all those parishes you went through, population in the Northwest has changed, the deviation is below Northwest deviation, we need to add a district. If we choose, why do we choose to look at some numbers and population shifts and ignore others? This has been happening over the last 30 years in Jefferson Parish. But we can't draw a district, 1, when it really should be 2. Hello. Do the math. 220,000 straight up give them to you so I can make sure the record's straight, because we need the record straight. 2020 census population, Jefferson Parish, 440,781. White, 220,935. Black, 126,217, which happens to be only 7,000 people over the ideal population for an entire district. Asian, 23,024. Median, 7,686. Other, 62,919. Hispanic, 79,057. Now here's where it really gets interesting. The total population change in the parish, which most people look at, is 8,229,000. Okay, so Jefferson Parish gained 8,000 people, approximately. The decrease in white population was 51,180 in the parish alone. Why is it that we're only going to look at it when it's convenient for incumbent protection and maintaining districts, or choosing precincts where my sister lives, or taking the economic engine out and gutting a district, which is the core constituency for the last 3 decades, because it makes somebody feel good, and I think it's a good fit? Are you kidding me? That's not what we're here for. People are paying attention. Now, you can vote for this. I will not lose a bit of sleep because I'm doing what I'm supposed to do right here at this microphone, representing people and telling you that it's wrong and it's unfair. I'm begging you not to follow what's popular or maybe politically comfortable, because it's not right by people. It's based on race. It's driven by the wrong thing. The increase in black population in Jefferson was 99,218. The increase in Asian population was 4,381. Indian, 4,284. Other, 41,526. And Hispanic, 25,355. If you add up the Hispanic, other, and black population, that's an increase of 77,000 people in Jefferson Parish of that demographic, and a decrease in 51,000 Caucasian. How is it that we ignore the population and demographic shifts to the extent that we are denying a clear population shift and denying a people an opportunity to elect at least one candidate of their choice? Why? You can't spew the rhetoric and not back it up with action and fair amendments and legislation. It's just not fair. You can do it. I'm not saying you can't. You can. Of course, you can press red or green on anything that you want. But at the end of the day, this isn't fair. And I think everybody knows that inherently, that it's just not fair. Black people have gone through a lot in this country. And certainly I expect other black people that represent Jefferson Parish to stand up for them. I got 2 precincts in Jefferson Parish right now. Y'all are probably like, what is she doing? I don't represent them. There are 3 other senators that have the West Bank of Jefferson Parish in particular. Not you, Katrina? Okay, you're making sure it's not you. All right. Stand up. All of this is happening because people don't want to represent the black folks on the West Bank of Jefferson. Yeah, I said it. What's up with that? Why we got to do all these shifts? Why we got to do that? Ain't right. Always good time to do what's right. Right now. Senator Henry, I have to object to your amendment. It's self-serving, in my opinion. You absolutely knew what you were doing when you took those particular precincts and flipped them out. It doesn't comport with what the president suggested, which is to keep the basic composition of existing districts. These are core elements and economic engines, students, faculty, economic engines of a core district. It goes completely against what the president's laid out in redistricting principles. That's why in globo, you don't see this amendment in the committee. The president didn't offer this. President, I don't blame him. He's trying to stay out of the middle of this. He's like, Jesus, Lord, have mercy. Can y'all just get along in New Orleans and Jefferson? And I say, man, look, I get it. I'm not even asking you to get in the middle of this debate. I don't envy you. But I ask you, along with others, to do the right thing. It's not right. And people just deserve to be treated fairly. And think about if it were your district. It's not my district, it's the people's district. But think about if the district that you see now in front of you in the form of this amendment, is it right to make this amendment? And it's not. It's just not. So I ask you to join me in opposition to the amendment.
Senator Connick to the floor on the amendment.
Thank you, Senator Peterson. You know, I'm from the West Bank. I'm born and raised in the West Bank. My family goes back 100 years. In my district, and you can tell by my votes, I'm going to represent African Americans, the Hispanics, the whites, the blacks, whoever. I'm going to represent the West Bank no matter who's there. I'm going to correct something Senator Carter said, Peterson said. She said, trying to make a point that Jefferson Parish has 4 white males representing them. But you know what? She's right when he said that, but look at what's happening. Gary Smith, his main district is in St. Charles Parish. He comes in and takes a portion of Jefferson. Karen Carter Peterson, to save her district, based in Orleans Parish, she comes along Holly Grove, along the Airline Highway, to get Jefferson Parish. She didn't complain about that, 10 years ago. Then you have Senator Gary Carter, who's in Algiers. He comes in and gets the African American that's on the West Bank. Everybody's dividing the West Bank up. When it's convenient, they take it when it's convenient for them to say that, we got to have compactness and this and that. But when it's not, they take the other side of the coin. I agree we need another West Bank district, minority district in Jefferson Parish, based in Jefferson Parish. But you know what you do? You carve up your District 5 in Orleans Parish. And carve that in Orleans Parish and have one minority district on the West Bank, one minority district, the 3 minority districts on Orleans Parish. And you have 3 other districts in Jefferson Parish that are represented as they are now. There's different ways to skin a cat. To come up here and cry when it's something that doesn't fit you, but you accepted 10 years ago or was done 10 years ago, it doesn't make sense to me. We need to work together and represent each other. The West Bank needs to have representation into, the economic engine that you talk about. I understand that, but the economic engine on the West Bank is everything. We have no ports, we have no big industry, no universities, but we do have representation there, and I'm against. I just want to make a statement about what was said about the West Bank and how Jefferson Parish has to give up everything when it's in the past, as Orleans Parish has been taken from the West Bank for years and years and years. That's got to change.
Senator Peters for a question on the amendment.
Yeah, just clarity, Senator Connick. I understand most of what you said, but I have to clarify. I didn't draw this district last time. So don't credit me with putting in Jefferson Parish and splitting it up. I would have never supported that.
Did you vote for it?
I don't recall voting for this district. This is not good. It's not good. Cracking a district is not good.
But you have that district, as it say, cracks in the Jefferson Parish is a key.
Oh, no, it exists, but that doesn't mean it's not the ideal district for the people, okay? And I'm not crying, number one. And number two, I'm not crying. I'm not crying. I'm laying out problems with what exists in the amendment. And so I don't know how you interpreted that. Did you see tears? No,
A little bit.
Senator Carter, in the current map, in the current district, before this amendment, before the census, the existing district that you just ran in, can you tell me what precincts change from District 7 now?
I'm sorry, this is my first time on the floor. Your question is, what changed in my amendment regarding District 5 and 7?
What changed in District 7 from as it exists today and in this amendment?
So what this amendment shows is, if you look at the demographics and the voting patterns,
By precinct.
if you look at the voting demographics based upon the census, what we see is we see an increase of voters returning to the New Orleans area. You have 40,000 people moving into the city of New Orleans. And so in my district has to gain approximately 500 to 7,500 people. And so what this district shows, what this amendment shows is my district gaining those voters into District 5. And so when we've been having these conversations, these very difficult conversations about how to best go about redistricting, there was various iterations of this map that was proposed. One version of it had my district crossing over into your Senate District 5 and going left along the river area. It was my understanding that you objected to that. So we did another version of it that instead of going left along the river, we had another version of the map that went right along the convention center front into the Superdome. It was my understanding there was an objection to that as well. So this version of it, it has my district growing around those areas, going up instead of going left or going right. So we've been working on various iterations to deal with any of the concerns. And the amendment itself has a list of all the various precincts that are included in the change.
So can you please go through, for the record, I need you to tell me what precincts that are currently in your district will no longer be in your district based on this amendment?
It's quite a few. It's quite a few. So if you go to my amendment on page 1, well, it's amendment number 2 on page 4, you have Senate District 7 is comprised of. All of the precincts right now that begins with 15, those are precincts that are located in Algiers, as we call it, the West Bank portion of Orleans on the West Bank. All the other precincts that involves other numbers, those are the ones that's being included. So that is Orleans Parish precincts 1-1, 1-2, 1-3. I'm sorry, I'm going to read.
That's not my question. I'm going to try again. It has nothing to do with what's in my district. What's in your district right now, today, that you just ran for, that will no longer be in your district when this amendment passes?
Well, I gave you a list of all the precincts that are being moved from one to the other, and I tried to give a list of them variously, and it seems like that's the ones I just was going through, and you cut me off. But I continue to ask.
Which precincts that are in your district now that you're taking out?
I don't think it's a matter of taking precincts out as much as is first and foremost trying to solve as we look at the redistricting and we look at the principles that apply, and one of the key parts of it is how do we keep your district majority African American? So if you look at the amendment so as we look at that is cutting me off. If we look at the principle of trying to make certain that your district remain an African American district, where does it grab those African American voters? And we have growth from Senate District 3, Joe Bowie's district, that's causing his district to shift to Ninth Ward, St. Bernard, and vacate the West Bank. And so those are the precincts that are now under this amendment. If I look at, get my glasses again. So that's precincts 168, 191, 187, 200, 181, 180, 173, 171. Those are precincts from Doc Bowie that are being moved to Senate District 5. And looking at this amendment, it also affects my Senate district. As you look at the precincts 197A, 205, 196, and the numbers are really small. So we have a printed out version that gives all the various precincts that is included with the reports included in the amendments.
So there are a lot of people that are watching right now, and they just get the amendment when it gets dropped. So I'm going to try this again. You have it in front of you. I want to know what precincts are in your district currently that will no longer be in the District 7 when this amendment passes. That's a very simple question.
In addition to the ones that I just mentioned, there's also the portion of Plaquemines Parish that I represent, and those are the parishes, those are precincts 21, 31, 51, 41, 61, and I believe 62 as well. In addition to the ones that I mentioned previously about 197A, 205, 196, 216C, and the related precincts going around them.
So just being general, it would be great if you could really give specificity so that members, not only members, but the public will know exactly which precincts are being taken out of District 7 is with this amendment and moved. And that is, I know it's attached to this map, so if you could look at the map and tell me what precincts are moving from District 7 in this amendment to district that are being taken out of District 7.
I believe I've answered the question. I really don't have anything else to add. I went through the numbers. I can list them again for us. If I could give them again to us. And we also, just in case I may have overlooked one, we have a printed out list, and also, it's my understanding the amendment is published, it's available online. And we've been working on this for quite some time, quite honestly. And so I went through them, and I can give you the list of them again. And so we're looking at 197, 218C, 205, 196. Then we have down in Plaquemines, and the related ones, there are smaller ones built inside of it, and there's a list of them. And we have in Plaquemines Parish the 2131, 41, 52, 61, 62. And then, of course, the ones from Senator Bowie, the ones I previously mentioned, 188, 191, 187, 201, 200, 180, 181, 173, and 171. But I believe I've answered the question.
Thank you. I have a couple more questions. Do you, Senator Carter, can you tell me what precinct Representative Kyle Green and Representative Rodney Lyons live in?
Can I tell you where Representative Kyle Green and where Representative Rodney Lyons, what precincts they live in?
Yes.
I do not know off the top of my head exactly what precincts they live in. I can tell you generally where they both live. And I don't want to say their house name, I mean their house address, that kind of information. No, I'm just trying my best to answer the question, Senator.
Okay, so what precincts do they live in, or what area do they live in?
Again, I cannot tell you off the top of my head. I do not know the precinct that Representative Kyle Green or Rodney Lyons live in. I know that Representative Kyle Green lives, I believe, in Marrero. I don't know the specific neighborhood. I would be guessing Westminster, but I don't believe I've ever been to his house. Representative Rodney Lyons lives in Woodmere. I know where his house is. I can't tell you what precinct that is.
Would you be surprised if I told you that those two West Bank precincts where they live are now in District 5, which has been a East Bank district? Would you be surprised?
Would I be surprised? I think the issue wasn't looking at politics as much as how do we maintain Senate District 5 as being a majority-minority district. And so when you have Senate District 5, as you pointed out, now the population of this district is 45% white, and we're looking where does it achieve minority voters, and given the population shifts that we see in the Ninth Ward and the St. Bernard Parish that causes Senator Bowie's district to shift, these are the shifts that we're talking about. The ripples that we see in the maps aren't being driven by where this representative lives versus this representative, as much as it reflects the demographics, the law, and making sure we maintain the majority African-American basis of District 5, which this amendment does. This amendment enhances its African-American representation.
What was the Orleans Parish, Jefferson Parish split in District 7 based on the census numbers right now? What is it right now before any changes?
Can I make sure I understand the question? Your question is to make sure, what is the breakdown of my current district in terms by parish?
The breakdown based on the census, 2020 census, if based on the census and the way it is right now.
So my district is currently a plurality Orleans Parish. Consists of 48% Orleans, essentially 40% Jefferson, around 12% Plaquemines. And I would also like to echo Senator Connick that I represent all the people of my district, regardless of whether or not they're in Orleans Parish, whether or not they're in Jefferson Parish, whether or not they're in Plaquemines Parish, whether or not they're white, they're black, Republican, or Democrat. And one of the, quite honestly, when we look at this, when we look at these numbers, these aren't just numbers. These are people. These are the people we represent. These are the people we fight for. These are the people we care about. We carry their burdens. We try to ease their pain and deliver them resources. That has been driving this, on top of the law, on top of the principles of maintaining majority-minority districts. That is what's been driving this process.
Under the current amendment, what is the split Orleans Parish, Jefferson Parish?
What would be the split under this analysis? Under this analysis, I believe under Jefferson Parish would approximately be 43% of the district. Orleans would be right at 50 point something, and then Plaquemines, I would believe, somewhere around 4 or 5% or so. So it would maintain the integrity of the district where it stretches multiple parishes. It goes all the way from Jefferson Parish to Orleans into Uptown, but then it crosses, Plaquemines go all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. And this amendment maintains the current integrity of all the Senate districts, including District 7, and importantly, and I can't stress this enough, it makes certain that Senate District 5, Senator Peterson, your district remains a majority African-American district, especially given historic nature, where the first African-American woman, Diana Bajwa, and that wasn't that long ago. The senator before Senator Peterson was Cheryl Gray Evans, who resigned early. She left for family reasons. And before her, it was Senator Diana Bajwa. This preserves that minority district here in the city of New Orleans, District 5.
Are you familiar, Senator Carter, with the population shifts in Jefferson Parish? Specifically, that the total population is 440,000 and the white population is 220,000?
If you look at the numbers and the demographics of it, there are approximately, you're right, 440,000 or so people in Jefferson Parish. There are approximately 380 or so thousand people in Orleans Parish. And you look at the delta, you think of the analysis of it. That is why there are 7 senators from Jefferson Parish and 6 senators from Orleans. Looking at it, going back to the very first thing that Mr. President, you said, we start off with the constitutional principle, one person, one vote, making certain that there's equal representation for all of our districts. And if you look at the population difference, if you're comparing Jefferson Parish to Orleans Parish, and you say, well, Jefferson has 440,000 people, well, Jefferson Parish has 7 senators. Orleans has 380,000 or so people, and it has, therefore, 6 senators.
I'm only asking you about Jefferson Parish. Are you familiar that with the numbers that say the total population of Jefferson is 440,000 and the white population in Jefferson is 220,000. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, we have these numbers, we have these things. Yes, we have these numbers, we have the considerations. Those are the factors that we all considered as we heard this on the road show. We had committee meetings. We've had so many community meetings about all of the factors that are considered, how to make sure we have equal representation and strong minority representation. And this maps preserves not only the integrity of all the Senate districts, it makes certain we have Senate District 5 remain a majority minority district and enhance it.
So you are familiar with the numbers because you've seen them. So that would 440,000 in Jefferson Parish, that's 220,000 white. Let me ask you a very specific question. Do you think the minority population in Jefferson Parish should have a majority minority district?
These are the factors that we consider when preparing the maps. And considering that factor, as we also consider the demographic shifts, and we see this population return to Orleans Parish, where we see 40,000 people moving into Orleans Parish, 30,000 of whom are white. And look at the growth, and looking at those factors, that's why this amendment preserves the integrity of all those districts, including making certain that Senate District 5 remains a majority minority district, and it preserves the integrity of the remaining Senate districts from New Orleans, including Senate District 7, including Senate District 3, including Senate District 4, and it also makes certain that the other districts are maintained as well.
So again, do you support a minority district, a majority minority district in Jefferson Parish based on the population shifts and that only 220,000 white people make up Jefferson Parish? Do you support a majority minority district?
The amendment that we have and the maps that we have reflect all those considerations. It's not as if it's one factor over another. It's all of these factors, and it leads from the primary factor, making sure that a fair representation, one person, one vote. And then follow the law, and we make certain that we maintain Senate District 5 as a majority minority district. We've worked really hard to consider all the factors and make sure that we have a map that works. And I would tell you, I currently represent 40% of my district is Jefferson Parish. There are African Americans, there are white, there are Hispanics, there are Asians, there are others, there are Republicans, there are Democrats, and I fight for them all. I represent Jefferson Parish today. I pray I continue to represent them tomorrow, along with Orleans Parish, Plaquemines Parish, because it's about the people that I represent.
So do you support a majority minority district in Jefferson Parish?
I believe I've answered that question to the best I can. There are a number of different factors that weigh into it. And as you consider all of the various factors that weigh into it, and you consider the law, you consider the demographic shifts, you consider trying to make certain we maintain your district seat, Senate District 5, as a majority minority district, this is the map that we were able to do. And I don't believe, and I heard Senator Cameron Hury say it earlier, I don't think anyone's 100% happy with any of these maps. These aren't numbers on a page. These are people we represent. We've met them. We've shaken their hands. We've entered their homes. We fight for them. So perhaps we see it just a little differently. I'm looking at following the principles of following the law, following the demographic shifts, and also making certain we preserve an African American district for Senate District 5.
I'm going to try this again. Do you support a majority minority district in Jefferson Parish? It's very simple.
I believe I've answered the question multiple times. If you want me to say again what I just said, I certainly will. If you look at...
It's yes or no.
I answered the question as best I can.
If that's your best, okay. But I was just asking for a yes or no. Do you support a majority minority district in a parish that has approximately half of the population?
The maps have to take in considerations across the state. We have to look at the considerations across the city, the region, the Orleans, Jefferson area. So if you look at where's the growth in this area, where are the demographic shifts? If we compare the census from 2010 to the census now, you see an influx of people into the Ninth Ward, into St. Bernard Parish, into the city of New Orleans, into Mid-City, which is why our colleagues on the House side are debating where to put another House district inside of Orleans Parish. These aren't my specific preferences. This is how do we work looking at maintaining the integrity of all of our districts to say, based upon the law, based upon the demographic shifts, based upon hearing from the public, based upon going to road shows, based upon meeting with our colleagues and making certain that their concerns are heard and worked upon, the countless hours put into this, and by advocates and others, I don't think those are the factors that we've been relying upon, not one, not this, but that holistic way of how do we make certain we follow the law, how do we follow the population shifts, and how do we make certain that District 5 remains a minority-majority district?
Do you believe that there is cracking? Do you understand the principle of cracking?
Yes. I'm aware.
Do you believe there's cracking going on as a principle in Jefferson Parish in the way that you've drawn this amendment?
How would you, I really don't know how to answer that question as much as what we were trying to accomplish here is exactly what it is I've already laid out. We were trying our best to, one, follow the law, making certain that we maintain Senate District 5 to be a majority-minority district. That has caused the lines to be drawn in order to make certain that we're able to maintain Senate District 5 as a majority African-American district. And that is a proud, historic district. Prior to Senator Peterson representing District 5, it was Cheryl Gray Evans. Prior to her, it was Senator Diane Bashwa. For those of you who are not from the city of New Orleans or around the area, Senator Diane Bashwa, she's still active, she's still engaged, she's still here with us. It wasn't that long ago. And so we're making certain with these lines and these proposed amendments that we maintain Senate District 5 as a majority-minority district.
I so appreciate you talking about my district and my predecessors because they are amazing women. But let's talk about Jefferson Parish, the district you just ran in. Do you believe that the people of Jefferson Parish that you currently represent deserve a minority district? And do you believe that the way that the map has been drawn gives them a fair opportunity to elect a candidate of choice? I've heard from them, but I'm just asking what you believe. Do you believe that there is cracking going on in Jefferson Parish to dilute the minority vote based on this plan?
The first thing I want to do, and to my Jefferson Parish friends, my constituents who I represent, I fight for you regardless of if you're from Jefferson Parish or Orleans Parish, if you're Republican or you're Democrat or you're black and you're white. I have to feel I need to say that again and again and again, and that is true. And those people in my district who know me know that's true, and know that I try to have, like the scripture says, no pride of person, but represent the people that I can to the best of my abilities. There wasn't any one factor over another factor. We're helping draft these amendments as much as making sure we maintain the integrity of all the districts and making certain that we maintain Senate District 5 as a majority-minority district. If Senate District 5 is not maintained as a majority-minority district, we lose a lot.
Let's go to the East Bank. Why did you choose in your amendment, why did you choose the precincts that you chose? And if you could tell me.
I'm sorry, say it again.
The East Bank precincts, why did you choose those to put into Senate District 7?
Well, this is the third or so iteration of this particular this design of District 7 moving into District 5. When the first iteration of it had the crossing point being right at Precinct 10-3, for those who knows where that is the Louisiana Jackson area, Jackson Avenue, Chapatulas. And we went left along the riverfront into the large container area. It was my understanding you had an objection to that. So there was a configuration that went the other way, that went closer to the Superdome, and it's my understanding you had an objection to that as well. So what we have here is, again, trying to make certain we're taking all comments, all considerations, not one factor more than another factor, to come up with a map that makes sense, not for my district, not for your district, for all of our districts, for the people of the state of Louisiana. So this current version of it tries to avoid going into the port. It tries to avoid going into the Superdome. And it goes into the heart. So when you cross the Mississippi River Bridge, you exit, you could go down Broad, and it's right there. I believe we both know this. We're both from New Orleans. We're both born and raised in New Orleans. We went to the same law school. We both know these areas very well. I know I do as well. I was explaining exactly where it was on the map. I don't want to argue. I'm trying to answer your questions, but
So do you think that this map is fair, the way that you presented the amendment? Do you think it's fair to the people of Jefferson and the people of Orleans?
I believe this map is fair. I believe this map follows the law. I think this map follows the demographic shifts. I think this map follows the principle that the president laid out. I think this map protects the integrity of all the Senate districts. I think this map makes certain that we have Senate District 5, with its historic nature, has a strong African-American base. The voting age population of African-Americans in Senate District 5 is 54.5. The registered African-American vote is 57.9. That is significantly enhanced over the engrossed version of the bill that we all have pending before us. So do I think this map is fair? Yes. Do I think this map maintains the integrity of all the districts? Yes. Is this map perfect? Of course not. Nothing ever is, especially something as complicated as redistricting and giving all the various factors that we have to consider.
Mr. President, to the floor on the amendment.
One more question. Senator Carter, the District 5, you talked a lot about District 5. I know you are. You can do it. Yeah. The question is, you talked a lot about District 5 and preserving it as an African-American district based on the historic representation. So the primary factor was race?
The primary factor were multiple considerations, as I talked to earlier. It starts off with the law, as laid out by the president, as we have in federal jurisprudence and voting rights acts, that we maintain one equal representation, one person, one vote. Then we look at, on top of that, what are the demographic shifts? Where do we see the population growing? And if we look at the population shifts, we see 40,000 people coming to the city of New Orleans. We see Dr. Bowie's district having to vacate the West Bank because he has so much growth in the Ninth Ward, St. Bernard area. At the same time, we have your district maintaining it as an African-American district. There are so many different factors. There's the law, there's the demographics, there's the principles that the president laid out, and there's also working with colleagues, meeting with individuals, meeting with activists, going to community meetings, going to neighborhood meetings. All of those things were factors that we considered, not to determine numbers, but to determine how do we best represent the people of the state of Louisiana, all of our districts, whether they're black, they're white, they're rural, they're urban. It doesn't matter. We're in this together.
So you had to pull black voters out of Jefferson in order to make District 5 black?
If I'm not mistaken, I believe the current version of Senate District 5, in order to maintain its historical African-American nature, jettisons now into Jefferson Parish. So I believe this amendment merely keeps and maintains the integrity of all the Senate districts, including Senate District 5.
Senator Carter, did you know that there are 2 precincts from Jefferson Parish and Senate District 5 now that are wholly encompassed on the East Bank? But in the version of the amendment that you have, it takes black voters out of West Bank of Jefferson and puts them in a historic East Bank district in order to make that district black?
Well, that is what we were talking about, and then you have the population shift with Senator Joe Bowie's district going into the 9th Ward in St. Bernard. That population gain has caused him to vacate the West Bank. And your district is shored up with those voters to make certain that it remains a majority minority district.
So you shored up my District 5 East Bank district with black voters on the West Bank by pulling black voters on the West Bank. You shored it up.
I'm not sure I would classify it the way that you did. The way I would say it is the way I would say it is how I classified it previously, with multiple factors being considered. First and foremost, the law, the constitutional principles that we have. In addition to that, the demographic shifts that are real, that we see in numbers that are documented in the census, on top of the principles that we all have to abide by. That's what this is. This map, no one's pretending that it's perfect. No one is not pretending that it doesn't cause consternation. But what it shows is working with all the factors that we have and maintaining the integrity of all of our districts.
Would you agree that it is called cracking when you pull African American voters and don't give them the opportunity to elect from Jefferson Parish and don't give them the opportunity to elect the candidate of choice for merely the purposes of making another district of your choosing a certain VAP?
Again, that's your classification of it, and if I'm not mistaken, I understand. I'm trying to answer your question, Senator. It is my understanding the current version of Senate District 5 does exactly what it is that you're saying that this one does. And so I'm not sure where you're going with this, but I've answered the question, I believe, multiple times.
Senator Peterson to the floor on the amendment.
Thank you, Madam Pro Tem. So I oppose the amendment. I stand in opposition to the amendment. I certainly agree wholeheartedly with Senator Connick. I guess I should have been asking him questions because it would have been a lot easier. He did that in like 2 minutes, in 120 seconds, said what the population shifts say and what the law says, is that there should be a majority minority district in Jefferson Parish. And guess what? Right now, if you don't pass this amendment, that's what you get. You actually have it. Is it ideal? Is everybody happy? No. And by the way, people are saying, oh, Karen didn't want this, the Superdome, and Karen wanted the Superdome, wanted to keep it. Karen didn't want to keep anything. Karen doesn't own anything. It's not Karen's district. Karen's not running again. It's not Karen's district. I'm not mad, and I'm certainly not crying. I'm being very direct, and I'm advocating for the people of the city of New Orleans, and it seems like I'm advocating also for the people in Jefferson Parish who have gone underrepresented for a long time. And so with that, I just have some comments for the record again. There was population growth across New Orleans metro area in 2010, since 2010, including Jefferson Parish. It added 8,229 people. The growth came with significantly more racial diversity. Minority voters deserve a Senate map that reflects that. Over the last 10 years, the minority share of the Jefferson Parish population grew by about 13 percentage points. The black population grew by 7.9, growing from 27% to 28.6% of the parish right now. The Hispanic Latino population grew by 47.2, growing from 12.4 to 17.9%. Compared with 2010, there are now 51,180 fewer white residents in Jefferson, making it now just 50.1% white and 49.9% minority. And right now, there are no minority districts. There are only 5 parishes that saw their white populations decline more sharply than that of Jefferson Parish. It's Cameron, Tensas, Red River, Madison, and St. John. One of the most important considerations when we redraw these districts every 10 years is to account for the changes in our state's demographics and racial diversity. In fact, the Voting Rights Act requires us to draw new minority districts when population changes make it possible. That's why we're moving district from North Louisiana to the North Shore. This ensures that political preferences to preserve the status quo won't limit the voting power of growing minority communities over the years. If we just keep maintaining the status quo, that doesn't permit for more opportunity when the population is obviously shifting. This amendment further packs Black residents into Senate District 5, mine, that everybody wants to come and make a civil rights speech about and talk about the history of Senate District 5, and unnecessarily gerrymanders Jefferson Parish. So don't come on this high and mighty civil rights discussion about how you want to come across the river and protect Senate District 5. How about you take care of your own house, Senate District 7, and represent the Black people on the West Bank of Jefferson? Start there, and then come across and worry about me. Because I don't have a problem representing white, purple, orange, or green. I've been elected twice in a majority white district for the last 2 terms. It's not a problem. I go talk to voters. Even though I'm imperfect and I've made mistakes, I go tell them my story and how hard I fight for them, and they vote for me. I'm not scared of getting new people in my district. I'm not scared of taking precincts out for other members to avoid people running against them. I'm not scared. Black voters in Jefferson Parish deserve fair representation, and we have all seen maps and proposals that make it possible. Drawing a majority Black district fully within Jefferson Parish is possible, while still ensuring that Senate District 5 remains Black. Maintaining 4 Black senators for Orleans is still possible too. It just takes reconfiguration. But let me tell you something, the president, he's tried real hard. I've had many conversations with him. Consistently, in the meetings, I've said, Mr. President, no dog in this hunt. I really just want to make sure people are treated fairly. Mr. President, my district is not Black. I know what you are trying to do. We can create a Black district somewhere else and let the progression of the population, how it's changed, just go. A third of the people, a half of the people in Jefferson are minority. A third of the people in New Orleans are white. But these districts don't reflect that right now. And certainly this amendment worsens it. Please vote down the amendment. Please join me and Senator Connick in opposition. Thank you very much.